Chapter 1. Hannah. The espresso machine hissed in my quiet Manhattan studio, a sharp contrast to the stack of ivory envelopes sitting on my desk. As a wedding planner in New York, my life is governed by spreadsheets and Plan Bs. But this morning, the Pantone swatches and silk ribbons felt heavier. When my PA, Sarah, practically skipped into my office, she was beaming, her voice holding a note of barely contained excitement. "Miss Hannah, a new portfolio just landed. Well, you need to see it." "Email it over, Sarah," I said, already scanning the design proofs for a Hamptons clam bake wedding on my laptop. "I think you need to hold this one. You're about to be the most famous wedding planner in the industry," she insisted. A moment later, she slipped into my office, holding a thick, cream-colored portfolio bound in what looked like genuine leather. She placed it on my desk with a reverent softness. This was hand-delivered by a suit from the Valenti family office. My professional curiosity, always piqued by a show of old-money elegance, snapped to attention. The Valenti name was legendary. This wasn't just a wedding, it was a global event, the kind of project that defines a career. The planner in me was already mentally drafting timelines and scanning Italian vineyard venues. "This is unexpected," I managed, wiping my hands on my trousers before reaching for the folio. My fingers traced the embossed family crest. This was the validation of every late night, every negotiated contract, every perfectly timed first dance. I flipped open the cover, and my perfectly ordered world cracked right down the middle. There, on the groom's profile sheet, was a photograph of Alessandro Valente. Alex. My breath vanished. The hum of the city outside my window fell silent. Just for a second, I was 17 again, not in a sleek Manhattan office, but in the quiet, dusty stacks of my high school library, pretending to study while I secretly traced the profile of the boy who sat in the back corner every day. Alessandro Valente, my high school crush, the quiet, intense boy with storm gray eyes who seemed to exist in his own solitary universe. The one I'd built 1,000 daydreams around, but never, ever had the courage to speak to. The unattainable center of my teenage universe. I'd thought I'd left that version of myself and him in the past. Sarah's voice cut through my thought. "Miss Hannah, are you all right?" "Yeah," I said sharply. I need to consider the feasibility," my voice strangely tight as I closed the portfolio with a definitive snap. "The travel to Italy, the scale, I'll review the details from home." She nods. In the safety of my Brooklyn apartment, surrounded by my own carefully curated calm, I called my anchor, my best friend Leah, who lived 1,000 miles away with her husband. "You have to take it," Leah said, after I'd spilled the whole story, my voice tight with a panic I never allowed anyone to hear. "Hannah, listen to me. That boy was a fantasy from a decade ago. You are a powerhouse now. This wedding is your ticket to the international big leagues. You cannot say no." "But Leah, seeing him again is going to be a little awkward," I said, the humiliating, vulnerable truth. "Then let it be professionally awkward, if that's a thing." Her tone was pragmatic, loving. "I mean, he's just a man, probably a boring, cold finance guy now. And besides, you guys barely spoke. With this, you get a legendary wedding portfolio out of it." I nod. "Yeah." Her voice softened. "Han, you've barely mentioned him in years. This isn't about him. This is about you and your career. It's just work." Just work. The words were a lifeline. I clung to them. She was right. The man in that photograph was a stranger. The boy I'd crushed on was a memory. I was an adult with a business, a reputation, a life. This was a job, the biggest job of my life. I sat at my desk, opened my laptop, and pulled up the confirmation email from the Valenti office. Then I began to type my reply, each click of the keys a nail in the coffin of that old, silly crush. To Valente Family Office. Subject, Wedding Proposal Confirmation. Dear Sir or Madam, thank you for the trust you've placed in Hannah Rossi Events. I accept with great pleasure the commission to plan the Valente Conti wedding. We are committed to executing a celebration of unparalleled elegance and precision, reflecting the significance of the occasion. Please expect our preliminary concept overview within the week. Sincerely, Hannah Rossi. principal and lead planner. I hovered over the send button for 1 heartbeat, 2. The ghost of the girl I was held her breath. I hit send. Just work, I said aloud to my quiet apartment, the words a mantra, a shield, a promise. I'm an adult now. And for a moment, staring at the sent confirmation on my screen, I almost believed it.
Chapter 2. The Cold Reunion. The reply from the Valenti office came the very next morning, as efficient and cold as I imagined its patriarch to be. They requested an in-person meeting at my earliest convenience. My earliest convenience, of course, meant dropping everything. A private car was arranged to whisk me from office directly to their headquarters. As the sleek black sedan glided silently through elegant streets, I pressed a hand to my sternum, willing my heart to settle into a professional, steady rhythm. It hammered back, traitorous and teenage. It's just work. You're an adult. He probably doesn't remember you. I rehearse neutrality the way I rehearse timelines. Breathe in, breathe out. This is a meeting, a very important one. Still, when the car stops in front of the Valenti Group headquarters, my hands feel cold. The Valenti building was a monument of glass and steel, all sharp angles and imposing silence. I was escorted by a silent assistant through a lobby that felt more like a modern art museum, up to the top floor. I expected a conference room, a team of planners. Instead, the assistant opened a heavy oak door to a vast, minimalist office with a panoramic view. And there he was. Alessandro Valente stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, a silhouette against the city skyline. He turned as I entered, and the breath I'd managed to steady fled completely. The boy from the library was gone. In his place was a man carved from marble and ambition. He was taller, his shoulders broader beneath the impossibly tailored charcoal suit. The softness I remembered had been planed away, leaving a blade-sharp jaw and a stern, unsmiling mouth. His hair was still that same dark, unruly wave, but now it looked deliberately tousled, expensive. And his eyes, those storm-gray eyes held no warmth. They were assessing, distant, the eyes of a man who reviewed balance sheets and found people wanting. He was, objectively, the most breathtaking man I had ever seen, and he felt a million miles away. Miss Rossi. His voice was a low baritone, cool and devoid of any recognition beyond my professional title. He didn't move from his spot, offering no handshake, just a slight impersonal nod. Thank you for coming on short notice. The ice in his tone doused the last flicker of foolish hope. He didn't remember me. Of course he didn't. Why would he? Mr. Valenti, I replied, my own voice miraculously steady, smooth as the polished concrete floor. A pleasure. I took the seat he gestured to, my posture perfect, my professional mask locking into place even as my heart continued its frantic drum solo against my ribs. We sit, across from each other, a desk between us that feels intentional. He spoke sharply. The vision is straightforward, a perfect, seamless wedding in Venice, no expense spared, no detail overlooked. It must be impeccable. He spoke about the wedding as if it were a corporate merger, which, in his world, it probably was. The ceremony will be at San Giorgio Maggiore, the reception at a palazzo. You and your team will be provided with accommodation in Venice for the duration of the planning and the event itself. All local transportation, appropriate attire for any events, and any resources you require will be handled. Your sole focus is the design and execution. I nodded, jotting notes in my leather portfolio, the scratch of my pen a comforting anchor in the surreal stillness. Understood. A curated team will be essential. I'll provide a list. Fine. He glanced at a file. We will begin initial site visits next week. I will accompany you to finalize venues. Does that present a problem? Accompany me. The word sent a bolt of dangerously close to panic through my veins. Weeks alone with him. No, I said, the word coming out a bit too quickly. I cleared my throat. No problem at all. Efficient. For the first time, his gaze seemed to truly focus on me, that gray stare piercing. It lasted only a second before flicking away. Good. A question born from professional curiosity and a more personal, aching wonder pushed past my lips. Might we involve the bride in these initial selections? Understanding her taste is paramount to... He hesitated.
a tiny, almost imperceptible fracture in his icy composure. Chiara is occupied with prior engagements. She will join us in Venice next week. Before I could process that, the delay, the slight evasiveness, a discreet knock sounded at the door. His assistant, a severe-looking woman, entered. "Sir, your conference call with Singapore is holding." "Thank you." He looked back at me, the moment of hesitation gone, sealed over. "That will be all for now, Miss Rossi. My assistant will provide you with all contact protocols. Do not hesitate to call my direct line with any questions." The dismissal was clear. The meeting, exactly 15 minutes long, was over. I stood, smoothing my skirt. "Of course, I'll have preliminary concepts to you by Friday." I forced the edges of my lips into something polite, neutral. "Good day, Mr. Valente. Miss Rossi." He gave another curt nod, already turning his attention to a screen on his desk.
I walked out, my heels clicking a steady, composed rhythm on the hard floor all the way to the elevator, through the gleaming lobby and back into the waiting car. Only when the door shut, enclosing me in silent plush leather, did I let my head fall back against the seat and close my eyes. The professional in me was already spinning. San Giorgio, a palazzo, unlimited budget. It was a planner's dream. The woman, the girl, was reeling. He didn't remember me, not a flicker. I was a vendor, a function. The revelation was a bittersweet relief. It made everything simpler, cleaner. There would be no awkward reminiscing, no unspoken shared history simmering beneath the surface. It was just business. Cold, sleek, multi-million-dollar business. As the car sped toward my office, I replayed every second. The cut of his suit, the cold certainty in his voice. A strange, hollow feeling settled in my stomach alongside the lingering thrill of the project. But why did his utter indifference feel like a tiny, sharp stone lodged beneath my professional mask? Chapter 3. The First Crack. The next week arrived with the unnerving speed of a looming deadline. My assistant, Sarah, had practically vibrated with excitement when the itinerary arrived. A chauffeured car to JFK, first-class tickets to Venice Marco Polo, and a detailed schedule that felt more like a royal decree. "Do you see this, Miss Hannah?" she'd whispered, clutching the printed sheets. "They're not just rich, they're have a palazzo on speed dial rich." I'd nodded, trying to match her enthusiasm. For Sarah, this was the adventure of a lifetime. For me, it was a return to a battlefield I'd just narrowly escaped. The flight was a bubble of hushed luxury. Sarah accepted every meal given to her. I stared out at the clouds, my stomach a tight knot. The mantra had evolved. You are a professional. He does not remember you. Venice greeted us with a soft, golden haze. As we exited the bustling arrivals hall, a uniformed man directed us. "Signora Rossi, your car is here." Two identical, sleek black cars idled at the curb. The man gestured for Sarah to enter the second car with our luggage. Before I could process the separation, he opened the door of the first car. And there he was. Alex occupied the far side of the spacious back seat, looking at his phone. He turned as the door opened, the Venetian light cutting across his profile. My heart didn't just sink, it plummeted, a stone dropped into the Grand Canal. A ride with him? The thought screamed in my head. Why wasn't I with Sarah? Was this a power move? A test? "Ms. Rossi," he said, his voice slightly less icy than it had been in his office, softened by the hum of Italian traffic. "Welcome to Venice." "Thank you," I managed, sliding into the leather seat beside him, careful to keep a respectful, professional distance. The car smelled of him, clean linen, sandalwood, and something faintly like rain. As the driver merged into the traffic circling the lagoon, Alex spoke without looking at me. "We will go directly to see the primary venue, the Palazzo. It is on the Grand Canal." "I see," I said, my planner's brain clicking on, grateful for the concrete detail. A good starting point.
We can assess flow, light, and logistical access. Just work, just a venue. The silence that followed was different from the one in his office. It wasn't empty, it was thick with the weight of the past and the strangeness of the present rolling through the ancient, water-laced streets. Then, as we crossed the Ponte Bridge, his voice cut through the quiet, casual yet deliberate. "So, Ms. Rossi, you stayed in London after high school?" The question was so simple, so utterly unexpected, that for a second I just stared at the passing scenery. He remembered. He remembered enough to know that New York wasn't my origin, but my destination. The cold, polished exterior he'd shown me had a crack, and through it seeped a glimpse of the boy who might have noticed more than I'd ever given him credit for. I kept my gaze forward, my voice carefully even. I did. Columbia for business, then apprenticed with a few event firms before starting my own. I dared a glance at him. He was watching me now, those gray eyes no longer assessing a vendor, but perhaps a person. "And you? Milan, I assume?" "A logical assumption," he said, a ghost of something, not a smile, but an acknowledgement, touching his lips. "Harvard, then the family offices here and in London." He paused. "You've done well for yourself." It wasn't warmth, but it was recognition, a professional respect that somehow felt more intimate than any social pleasantry. "Thank you," I said, the words feeling strange. "As you have." The car slid to a stop at a private dock. A polished wooden motorboat awaited. The palazzo wasn't reachable by road. It was a massive, sun-bleached masterpiece of Gothic architecture rising directly from the emerald water, its lower loggia lapped by the canal. I told Sarah she can stay behind because of her seasickness. The boat ride was short, the wind pulling at my carefully styled hair. Alex offered a hand to steady me as I stepped onto the palazzo's water entrance landing. His grip was firm, brief, impersonal, yet the contact burned. The interior was a breathtaking cascade of marble, gilt, and centuries-old frescoes. The Piano Nobile had a ballroom that opened onto a terrace overlooking the water, perfect for a ceremony with the sunset behind the Salute Church. I was lost in it, measuring sight lines, mentally placing a quartet, noting the power outlets discreetly hidden behind carved panels. After the tour, the caretaker led us to a sun-drenched salon where coffee awaited on a silver tray. There were 2 chairs at a small table by the window. As I moved to sit, Alex, almost absently, reached out and pulled the heavy, carved chair back for me. It was a small, automatic gesture. "Grazie," I murmured, sitting, my mind whirling. He took his own seat, stirring a single sugar cube into his espresso. "Well, Ms. Rossi, will the palazzo suffice for your logistical access?" I met his gaze over the rim of my coffee cup. The professional mask was still there, but behind it, something had shifted. "It will suffice perfectly, Mr. Valentere," and for the first time, I almost believed I could navigate this.
Chapter 4. Just Memory. Alex. I watched the car pull away, taking Hannah Rossi back to the hotel. My hotel. The one I owned a majority stake in and where, for logistical efficiency, I'd also had rooms booked for her and her team. The convenience had seemed logical this morning. Now, the fact that she was under the same roof, probably just a few floors below me, felt like a tactical error. For a moment, I just stood, the late Venetian sun heavy on my shoulders. The quiet after the car ride felt different, louder. My own boat arrived for the short trip to one of my properties. The journey did nothing to settle the strange restlessness in my chest. The house was silent, perfect. My things had been unpacked and placed with exacting precision. Usually, this order calms me. Tonight, it just felt staged. A headache was starting to press behind my eyes. I poured a whiskey, the crystal glass cool in my hand. I checked my phone. No calls, no messages. I'd called Chiara this morning, a duty. "The planner is here. We're viewing the palazzo." Her reply was airy, distracted. "Oh, good. I'm buried with this gallery show. You handle it." I took a slow drink. I almost laughed. She's buried. I'm running 3 continents worth of business and planning this wedding, and I'm the one on the boat tour. I don't blame her. I buried my own wants so long ago I'm not sure they ever existed. The wedding will happen. But my mind, treacherous thing, kept drifting back to the boat, to her, to knowing she was in the building right now, perhaps looking out her own window at the same slice of canal. Her name on the planner shortlist was the first disturbance, Hannah Rossi. It came from another world. Those 2 months at that high school when my parents' war required my temporary disappearance. I was a ghost there, angry, silent. And there was a girl, quiet in the library. We walked the same route home. We had a history project. I barely spoke. She was just a calm presence, a glimpse of a normal life. Seeing her in my office was a shock. The girl was gone. In her place was this woman, all sharp competence and a quiet beauty that seemed to take up more space than it should. And today, on the water, with the wind in her hair and that fierce, focused look as she studied the palazzo's facade, it was a distraction I couldn't afford. A distraction now residing in my hotel. I shook my head hard. Stupid. She's a contractor, a skilled one. That's all. The hotel is simply practical. My phone buzzed on the table. Stanley, my chaotic stepbrother. I pinched the bridge of my nose. "What do you want, Stanley?" "Is that how you talk to your best bud?" "It is when he calls." "It's evening in Venice. Live a little." "So, how's the wedding planning? Picked a cake yet? Is it shaped like a briefcase?" I drank. "The planning is proceeding. The cake will be cake. Good night, Stanley." "Wait, is the planner a battle axe or a dreamer? Details." An image flashed. Hannah on the boat, the light catching her profile, completely absorbed in her work. Dreamer didn't fit. Visionary did. The word unsettled me. "She's professional. That's all you need to know. I'm going." "Professional? Wow, you're a poet. Fine, go brood in your castle. Ciao." The line went dead. The silence rushed back in, thicker than before. I leaned back, closed my eyes. The headache was solid now. I have a wedding to plan. With the quiet girl. Professional, efficient, a contract. I repeated the words like a creed, but the memory of the boat ride and the knowledge of her proximity refused to fade.
Chapter 5. The Unaware Protector. Hannah. I woke to the soft, golden glow of Venetian morning light filtering through the tall windows. I must have fallen asleep at the small desk last night, my cheek pressed against a brochure for Murano glassware. I quickly arranged the chaos of papers and fabric swatches into semi-neat piles. A shower and a crisp linen dress later, I felt almost human. A knock came just as I was slipping on my shoes. Sarah, my assistant, stood there with a bright, knowing smile. "Ready for breakfast, boss? I hear the pastries here are life-changing." The hotel dining room was an airy, sunlit space overlooking a quiet canal. While Sarah went to the lavish buffet, my mind was already clicking into gear. The wedding was in 3 weeks. Venues were secured, but 1,000 details swarmed like bees in my head. I pulled out my laptop at a table, pulling up emails from florists. Alex had mentioned his mother had pre-booked tours for some last-minute decor and accessory sourcing today, so at least my schedule was set. These peony installations aren't bad. I should ask them where they want the floral focal point, I murmured to myself, zooming in on an image. Who? The low, familiar voice came from directly beside my ear. I froze. Alex was leaning over my shoulder, his gaze fixed on my laptop screen, so close I could smell the clean, sharp scent of his soap and the faint trace of coffee. My heart performed a clumsy somersault. I stammered, snapping the laptop shut a little too forcefully. He straightened up, unbothered. "They don't look bad," he stated matter-of-factly, then moved to sit in the chair opposite me, setting down an espresso cup. "You don't have to ask me anything. Do your thing." He took a slow sip, his eyes holding mine over the rim. The intensity of that look made my professional script falter. It's just, shouldn't the bride have a preference? I mean, it's her wedding. "Yeah," he said, a bit too sharply. He cleared his throat, his tone flattening back to its usual cool plane. "Just do your thing. She doesn't mind." I nodded, swallowing the strange lump in my throat. Why was he making all these decisions? "Have you eaten breakfast?" he asked, changing the subject. I gestured towards Sarah, who was still standing by buffet with a plate heaped with what looked like every Italian pastry known to man, her face a comic mix of delight and overwhelm. Alex's lips twitched in what might have been amusement. He stood. "Take your time. Meet me downstairs when you're done." And just like that, he was gone, leaving me with my confusion and a suddenly bland-tasting croissant. The day was a whirlwind of tours, a linen supplier in a hidden alley, a visit to a famed jeweler for final adjustments on the ceremonial coins, and finally the crucial search for a backup indoor ceremony venue, a necessity Alex had insisted on, despite the weather being perfect. We found one, miraculously, in Cannaregio that had a last-minute cancellation. "Finally," I breathed, sinking onto a chair at a small cafe patio nearby, my feet aching. Alex had gone inside to order for us. As I waited, the day replayed in my mind. I noticed things, little things that stacked up like puzzling clues. He hadn't corrected the elderly linen vendor who'd smiled and called us una bella coppia, a beautiful couple. He simply nodded, his hand finding the small of my back to guide me through the crowded workshop. He was always looking for a place for me to sit, pulling out chairs before I could. During a long phone call with his office in New York, he'd noticed me fanning myself with a brochure, and without pausing his conversation, he signed to his guards, and a minute later there was a small, sleek, portable fan on my face. It was like he did these things on autopilot. Maybe this was just how he was, efficient, attentive in a detached CEO way, but it felt curated, for me. My thoughts were interrupted by a passerby, a young Italian man with a camera. "Mi scusi, signorina, che viso meraviglioso. Posso scattare una foto?" He complimented my face and asked for a picture. I smiled, flustered. My Italian was serviceable but rusty. "Grazie, ma..." I was sweaty from the day. My dress was simple and rumpled. I wasn't picture-ready. "No." The single word spoken in smooth, authoritative Italian came from behind me. Alex arrived at the table, setting down a tray with 2 ice cream and pastries. He addressed the photographer, his tone polite but firm, leaving no room for argument. "No, grazie. Un'altra volta, perhaps." "No, thank you. Another time, perhaps." The man offered an apologetic smile and moved on. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. Alex sat. "If you don't want something or feel uncomfortable, you don't have to be shy about telling them." "It's not that," I said, avoiding his gaze. He raised an eyebrow, a hint of a challenge in his eyes. "Don't tell me you're still a shy girl, Hannah Rossi." "What? I was never shy." The protest came out too fast, too defensive. I was stammering. Damn it.
He just looked at me, that same unconvinced, almost teasing expression on his face. "I'm not," I insisted, lifting my chin. "I'm a fully grown woman. What is there to be shy about? I meet new people every day." A low clutter escaped him. It was a warm, rich sound I'd rarely heard. "Yeah," he said, the teasing note still there. I didn't say anything. I felt a blush creep up my neck and shoved a bite of the pastry into my mouth, pouting like the teenager he was accusing me of being. "Take it easy," he said, his voice dropping, almost gentle. "You'll choke." I ignored him, taking a defiant scoop of the ice cream. "I didn't know you spoke Italian," he said, after a moment, changing the subject again. I shrugged, the tension easing. "A bit, for work." I nodded towards him. "You're fluent." He gave a small, almost shy shrug of his own. "Yeah, I guess." A faint, genuine smile touched his lips, and for a second, the aloof CEO was gone, replaced by the boy from the library. It was just a flash, but it was enough to send my carefully ordered thoughts once again into a tailspin. He was a puzzle wrapped in a contradiction, shielded by ice but radiating these unconscious sparks of heat, and I was standing far too close, feeling every one of them.
Chapter 6: The Bride and the Goodbye. After the long day, Alex walked me back to the hotel lobby. I was so lost in the haze of my own thoughts, the setting sun glinting in his dark hair, the easy way he'd switched to Italian, the protective edge in his voice, that I'd almost forgotten about Sarah entirely. Luckily, Alex told his driver to take her back to the hotel earlier. What a day! I sank onto my bed, kicking off my shoes. My mind raced ahead to tomorrow, lighting tests, decor mock-ups, but my thoughts stubbornly circled back to Alex. The way he'd looked in the golden afternoon light, so effortlessly commanding and yet different. A wild, dangerous flutter started in my chest, and I had to physically sit up to stop it. My phone buzzed on my bag, a lifeline from the real world. Leah. "So, how's it going?" her voice chirped, an instant dose of normalcy. "Good, busy, productive," I recited, my professional auto-reply engaged. "Uh-huh, and him? Does he still have that brooding library god thing going on?" A traitorous blush heated my cheeks. "Leah, you're blushing, I can hear it. You still have a thing for him." "I do not have a thing," I hissed, lowering my voice even though Sarah was in the other room. "I'm here to work. He's a client, a very detail-oriented client." We talked for a while longer, Leah peppering me with questions I deflected, until I finally begged off, citing exhaustion. "Just work, hon," she said softly before hanging up. "Remember, just work," I whispered to the dark ceiling, a nightly mantra that was losing its power. The next morning dawned clear and bright. In the hotel lobby, standing next to Alex, was a woman who could only be Chiara Conti. She was stunning, willowy and elegant, with chestnut hair that fell in soft waves and a smile that seemed genuinely warm. She stepped forward, her hand extended. "Hannah? I'm so sorry I haven't been more involved. It's all been so chaotic. Thank you for everything you're doing. Alex says you're a miracle worker." Her kindness was a physical blow. Guilt, sharp and immediate, sliced through me. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Conti, and please, no apologies. We're here to make your day perfect." "Chiara, please," she insisted, her smile never wavering. But even as she spoke, her phone buzzed in her delicate clutch. She glanced at it, a flicker of something, annoyance, longing, crossing her face, before she dismissed the notification. "Now, Alex has told me you found wonderful things. I trust his taste completely. Whatever you two have decided is fine with me." The tour that day was a study in surreal contrast. Chiara was pleasant, appreciative, and utterly disengaged. In the car, Alex sat in the front passenger seat, Chiara and I in the back. A silent, heavy space seemed to exist between them.
When I offered them both bottles of water from the cooler, Alex's voice was taut. "Never do this again. Don't trouble yourself. The driver can handle that." It wasn't rude, but it was a boundary, a reminder of my role, and he'd set it for her, his fiancée, the correct, proper thing to do. They didn't touch. They barely spoke. They existed in the same vehicle like two distinct isotopes, sharing no chemistry. By the end of the day, the guilt had morphed into a confused ache. This is the woman he was marrying? That night, a firm knock sounded on my hotel room door. I opened it to find Alex. He looked weary. "I have to fly back to New York tonight. An issue with the merger needs my attention." "Oh," I said, the syllable dropping into the quiet hallway. "Kiara will be here. She'll oversee the final selections with you." A strange, sharp prick of pain needled beneath my ribs. This was proper. This is how it should be. His fiancée should be the one choosing flowers and china. This was for the best, I told myself. Things would be smoother, clearer. "Of course, that makes sense," I said, my voice perfectly even. "I'll call you," he said, his gray eyes intent on mine. "Every day, to get updates. Don't let the process stress you." "You don't have to do that," I murmured, looking down at the ornate hallway carpet. He reached out then, his fingers brushing a loose strand of hair away from my temple, tucking it behind my ear. The touch was fleeting, but it scorched. "Don't stress yourself," he repeated, his voice lower. "And don't be too shy to say no, or to say exactly what you're thinking." I looked up, meeting his gaze, my face flaming. "I'm not shy, I told you before." A low chuckle escaped him, the sound warming the space between us. We stood there, caught in a silent current for a minute that felt like an hour. The air hummed with everything unsaid. "Good night, Alex," I finally whispered, my hand tightening on the door. "Buonanotte, Hannah," he replied softly in Italian. I closed the door, leaning my forehead against the cool wood. My heart was a frantic, stupid thing, hammering against my ribs. I squeezed my eyes shut, trying to erase the feel of his fingers on my skin, the look in his eyes. "He has a fiancée," I reminded the reckless organ in my chest. "She is here now, and she is lovely." But as I slid down to the floor, hugging my knees, all I could think was that when he was here, the air felt alive, and now he was gone, leaving only his absence and the ghost of his touch.
Chapter 7. The Calls and the Missing Dress. The next morning arrived with the weight of an impossible deadline. 2 weeks. The wedding was technically 2 weeks away, but at this pace, we'd be lucky if the bride showed up in something other than jeans. I flipped through my journal, recalculating timelines, vendor deliveries, and the growing knot in my stomach. 2 weeks, my foot, I muttered, scribbling notes. Sarah was back from New York, having handled the office chaos I'd abandoned. She sat across from me in the hotel breakfast room, attacking food with the enthusiasm of someone who hadn't survived on espresso and anxiety for the past week. "So," she said, mouth half full, "bride today?" "Bride today," I confirmed. "Try to look professional and swallow before speaking." Kiara descended into the lobby at precisely 10, looking effortlessly gorgeous in her designer dress. She greeted me with that same warm, distant smile. "Hannah, ready for another adventure?" The day was a whirlwind. Shop after shop, vendor after vendor. The surreal part? Kiara had opinions on absolutely nothing. "Thoughts on the charger plates?" I'd ask. "Whatever you think best. Gold or silver candlesticks?" "Oh, either is fine." "The flower girl basket?" She'd wave a manicured hand, eyes on her laptop screen. "You decide. You have such good taste." By noon, I wanted to scream. By 3, I'd stopped asking. Sarah shot me increasingly concerned looks as Kiara clicked away on her phone, occasionally murmuring, "Sorry, work emergency." Work emergency? Her wedding was in 2 weeks.
We stopped for espresso at a tiny cafe. Kiara excused herself to take a call, and Sarah leaned close, her voice a hushed, urgent whisper. "Hannah, she doesn't have a dress." I froze. What? She said on the phone to someone, her sister, I think, that she hasn't even started looking. Said she'd figure it out. Sarah's eyes were wide. Who waits until 2 weeks before their wedding to figure out a dress? I sat there, my hand trembling slightly. Is this a joke? Is this wedding a joke? The questions tumbled through my mind, relentless. No dress, no engagement ring, I'd noticed that too, the bare left hand that should have glittered with something significant. I'd heard they'd had an engagement party, so where was the ring? Where was the urgency, the excitement? Does she love her work more than this wedding? Does she love him? The thought of Alex, of him marrying someone who couldn't be bothered to pick a flower color, let alone a dress, sent a strange, aching twist through my chest. By the time we returned to the hotel, my head was spinning. I collapsed onto my bed, staring at the ceiling, the questions circling like vultures. A knock came at the door. My heart leaped, traitor that it was. "Come in," I called, sitting up. Sarah poked her head in. "Just checking in. You okay?" "Peachy," I gestured vaguely, just processing the fact that our bride is more committed to her phone than her wedding. "She's odd," Sarah agreed carefully. "I mean, she's nice, but somewhere else, you know?" "Yeah," I sighed. "Get some rest. Tomorrow we tackle the florist situation." She nodded and disappeared. I took a shower and changed into pajamas and was just climbing into bed when my phone buzzed on the nightstand. Alex. I stared at it for a moment, my heart doing that stupid thing it always did now. I picked up. "Hello?" "Hello." His voice, low and familiar, washed over me. "Long day?" "The longest," a small smile tugging at my lips despite everything. "Venetian shopping marathons with the bride?" "You?" "Meetings. Endless meetings." A pause. "How did it go?" I hesitated. The dress, the disengagement, the 1,000 red flags waving frantically in my mind. But what could I say? "Your fiancé is a little distracted with work. Can you maybe talk to her? Or does she want this wedding?" "Productive," I said carefully. "We covered a lot of ground." "Good." Another pause, softer this time. "And how are you, really?" The question caught me off guard. The way his voice softened around the edges made my chest tighten. I hugged a pillow to my stomach. "Tired," I admitted. "A little overwhelmed, but that's normal. Weddings are chaos." "You handle chaos well." "Comes with the job description." He chuckled, a low, warm sound. "I don't doubt it." We talked for an hour. He told me about the merger, about a disastrous board meeting where someone spilled coffee on a multi-million-dollar contract. I told him about the insane Murano glass chandelier we'd found, about Sarah's bottomless appetite for Italian pastries, about the stray cat that had adopted the hotel courtyard. By the time we said goodnight, my cheeks hurt from smiling. The next night, he called again, and the next. What started as brief check-ins became the best part of my day. His voice asking about the little things, the way he remembered details, the florist I'd been stressed about, the name of the cafe with the good espresso, the way he said my name, soft and deliberate, like it mattered. On the fourth night, I asked, "How are you, really?" Silence. Then, quietly, "Better now. You?" "I'm good." We talked for a while because he had a meeting in 15 minutes and just wanted to check up on me before I slept. When the call ended, I stared at my phone, my heart hammering. "Stop," I told myself. "He's getting married. This is professional." But it didn't feel professional. And the missing dress, the absent ring, the bride who couldn't be bothered to pick a flower color, let alone a dress, whispered a question I daren't voice. What if this wedding shouldn't happen at all? I pushed the thought away, buried it deep, but it lingered, stubborn and persistent, as I finally drifted to sleep.
Chapter 8. The Yacht and the Moment. The following week brought an unexpected arrival, Signora Chloe Valenti, Alex's mother. She swept into the hotel lobby like a breath of fresh Italian air, elegant in a simple silk dress, silver-streaked dark hair pulled back, and 2 bodyguards behind her. A strong aura radiated from her, a contrast to her son's demeanor. "You must be Hannah Rossi." She took my hands in hers, her grip firm and genuine. "The incredible wedding planner. You're doing a great job." I laughed, flustered. "Thanks, ma'am. Just doing my job, Signora." I smiled. "Please, sit." I gestured to a chair. "Chloe, please," she said. Then her eyes crinkled. "I know it's a little difficult to work with my son and Chiara. Alex is a little cold, distant. He gets that from his father. But he left things for you to handle, which means he trusts you. But if you have any questions, do not hesitate to let me know." The words settled somewhere warm in my chest. I pushed them down. "No problem. Thank you, ma'am. But Mrs. Valenti is already helping me." She wrinkled her eyebrow. "Yeah, she has." I stared at her in confusion. She does like her future daughter-in-law, right? Or what? But Alex's mom just smiled. The venue walkthrough that afternoon was meant to be simple. Final measurements, lighting checks, the last details before the rehearsal. Chiara drifted through it like a ghost, responding to her mother-in-law's questions with vague smiles and distracted nods. Halfway through the ballroom inspection, I excused myself to check something with the venue coordinator. As I rounded a corner near the terrace, voices drifted through an open doorway. Chiara and Alex's mom. "It's not really about the wedding, is it?" Chloe's voice, low and controlled but edged with something sharp. "I don't know what you mean." Chiara's tone was defensive, brittle. "What is wrong with you? Don't put us in a difficult situation." A pause. "Play your part well, Chiara." "You don't understand." "I understand more than you think." Chloe's voice dropped, too quiet for me to catch the rest. "Just behave." I backed away, my heart pounding. I shouldn't have heard any of that. Later that afternoon, Alex's mom left without fanfare. No goodbye, no confrontation. But that night, a bellman delivered a beautifully wrapped box to Sarah and me. Artisan chocolates, a bottle of excellent Prosecco, and a handwritten note. "For the 2 miracle workers making beauty from chaos. Grazie. C." Sarah squealed over the chocolates. I stared at the note, wondering what the conversation earlier was really about. That night, I waited for Alex's call. 7 p.m., nothing. 8 p.m., still nothing. 8:15, I checked my phone. No missed calls, no messages. He's busy, I told myself. CEO, merger, life, it's fine. At 8:30, a knock came at my door. Sarah, probably, here to raid the chocolates. I opened it. Alex stood in the hallway. My breath caught, tangled somewhere between my throat and my chest. He was here, not on my phone screen, here. In a dark shirt, sleeves rolled to his elbows, hair slightly windswept like he'd just stepped off something fast. "Oh," I stammered. You're back." He smiled, a real one, small but genuine. "I'm back." "I thought you were in New York until Friday." "Finished early." Those gray eyes swept over me, quick but thorough. "How was today? I hope you weren't too stressed." No, it's my job." I laughed awkwardly, suddenly aware of my rumpled t-shirt, the faint exhaustion I'd been ignoring. "Just another day in paradise." He tilted his head, studying me. "Get ready. 10 minutes. Meet me downstairs." "Wait, what? Where?" But he was already walking away, tossing over his shoulder, 10 minutes, Hannah." I stared at the empty hallway, my heart hammering. What is this? What is happening? I flew through my closet, rejecting everything. Too casual, too dressy, too trying hard. Finally, I grabbed a simple navy sundress, elegant but understated, and twisted my hair into something slightly less chaotic. He was waiting by the entrance, leaning against his car. When he saw me, something flickered in his eyes. Appreciation? Approval? I couldn't read it. He opened the car door himself. No driver, just us. We drove through Venice's winding streets, across the bridge to the marina, and then I saw it. A yacht, not a boat, a yacht. Sleek, white, impossibly elegant against the dark water. I turned to him. "Don't tell me that's yours." He nodded, almost sheepishly. "Yeah. You mentioned wanting to see the city at night, more of the night scenery, so..." He gestured. "Let's do that. Think of it as a thank you for everything." "Oh," the word came out small. "Thank you, Alex. This is incredible." The yacht was absurd, beautiful. He showed me around, the salon with its soft lighting, the deck with its cushioned seating, the upper level with panoramic views of the lagoon. A steward appeared with champagne. I accepted a glass, then another. We talked, really talked, about his childhood, why he moved to London to stay with his late grandmother for a while because of family issues, and I told him about my family too, work and other stuff. By the time the yacht turned back, the city lights glittering like scattered jewels across the water, I realized I'd lost count of how much champagne I'd had. The world felt soft, warm, edged in gold. "You okay?" He was closer than I remembered, concern in those gray eyes. "I'm perfect," I said, and meant it. Then I stood too quickly. The world tilted, my heel caught, I stumbled. He caught me, arms around my waist, steadying me against him. His scent, clean linen, sandalwood, the faint salt of the sea, wrapped around me. "You think you drank a little too much," he said, but he was chuckling, low and warm. I turned to face him. I laughed, breathless. Maybe I was just too excited to be out, to see this. I looked up at him. "Thank you, Mr. Valenti." "Just Alex," he insisted. "Alex," I repeated. For a moment, we stayed like that, his hands on my waist, mine on his chest, the city lights behind him like 1,000 tiny stars, music drifting from somewhere below, everything perfect. Something shifted in his eyes. The teasing faded, replaced with something raw, unguarded. The air between us thickened, charged with everything unsaid. I saw it, the want, the question, the same one I felt burning in my own chest. "This is it," some dangerous part of me whispered. "This is the moment." Then reality crashed down like ice water. He's engaged. 2 weeks. The wedding is in 2 weeks. Chiara, the bride, the woman who trusts me. Guilt, sharp and nauseating, flooded through me. I pulled back abruptly, nearly stumbling again. "I'm fine," I heard myself say, my voice too bright, too fast. "Just need some air, a moment. I'm fine." I stepped away, putting distance between us, leaning against the railing and gripping it like it was the only thing keeping me upright. Behind me, he didn't move, didn't speak. The city lights blurred. I blinked rapidly, refusing to let the tears fall. "He's not yours," I told myself. "He's not yours. Get it together." But my heart, stubborn and stupid, refused to listen.
Chapter 9. The Morning After. Alex. I woke to sunlight slicing through the curtains, sharp and accusing. The first thing I thought of was her, the way she felt in my arms, the pull to claim her. Then she pulled away, the guilt in her eyes before she stepped back. I turn, willing the memory to fade. It didn't. What the hell is wrong with me? I'd felt it last night, that pull, electric and undeniable. The urge to close the distance, to tilt her chin up, to kiss her right there with the city lights glittering behind her, like something out of a dream. I'd wanted to. Gosh, I'd wanted to. I couldn't be doing this. Not now. not with a wedding in less than 2 weeks. But I couldn't stop thinking about her, the way I'd rushed through my meetings in New York, counting hours until I could see her again, the way I'd cleared my schedule, had the yacht prepped just because she'd mentioned wanting to see the city at night. Who was I? Romeo? I chuckled. What had she done to me? I groaned, sitting up. Stop it, Alex. Those feelings can't come back. They were never supposed to exist in the first place. But they had existed, longer than I wanted to admit. High school came back to me in flashes, the way she'd bite her lip when she was nervous during our history project, the way I'd catch her staring sometimes across the library and pretend not to notice, the way she'd walk home, always a few steps behind, like she didn't want to intrude but didn't want to leave either. I'd noticed her. I'd noticed everything. And now she was here, planning my wedding to another woman, and I was losing my mind. This marriage has to happen, I reminded myself. It's important for the family. It doesn't matter that... A knock shattered the thought. I yanked open the door and immediately wished I hadn't. Stanley stood there, grinning like an idiot, a designer duffel slung over one shoulder. What are you doing here? Is that how you greet your brother? He pushed past me, dropping his bag on the nearest chair. Can't believe you're staying here. Very you. Ritzy gives me the creeps. I shot him a look. Stanley. Fine, fine. He flopped on the sofa, sprawling like he owned it. Dad sent me. Said I should help the bride since he thinks I have nothing better to do. So you can go back to running the company until the wedding. I froze mid-step, buttoning up my cloth. Me leave? Stanley would stay? What about her? I don't need you, I said flatly, picking up my coat, my mind already racing through today's agenda. Shopping, final fittings, time with her. Stanley looked around, frowning. Wait, where's Kiara anyway? Don't tell me she already left you before the wedding. He laughed at his own joke. I didn't answer. I just walked out, Stanley trailing behind me like an overeager puppy, firing questions I refused to answer. That day was a special kind of torture. Kiara had flown back to New York without telling me. I had to hear it from Hannah. My own soon-to-be wife hadn't bothered to inform me. But somehow that wasn't what bothered me most. What bothered me was Hannah. She avoided me. Every time I got close, she found a reason to be elsewhere. During the shopping, she stayed glued to Sarah's side, laughing at something on her phone, refusing to meet my eyes. She was there, but not there. The distance was a physical ache. And Stanley, gosh, Stanley, he orbited her like a planet, cracking jokes, making her smile, actually smile, while I stood on the sidelines like some kind of unwanted guest. I watched her laugh at something he said, her head tilting back, and felt something hot and unfamiliar twist in my chest. I should send him back. At dinner, she finally approached me, a tablet in hand, professional mask firmly on place. Mr. Valente, I have the final floral report. Mrs. Valente said I should ask for your approval on the ceremony arrangement. Mrs. Valente. The words landed like a slap. I snorted, actually snorted like a teenager. She blinked. Did you just roll your eyes? Did I asked, not meeting her gaze. You did, she said, and I could hear the confusion and the faint amusement in her voice. Did I repeated, still not looking. Mr. Valente, her voice sharpened slightly, professional, distant. You need to approve this, Mrs. Valente. I took the tablet from her, set it aside, and pointed at the empty seat beside me. Eat. She stared at me. What? Dinner. You haven't eaten. I'm eating with Sarah over there. She gestured vaguely toward the other side of the restaurant. I noted. Sit and eat, Hannah. She opened her mouth to argue, but something in my expression must have stopped her. She sat.
For a few minutes, we ate in silence. Then, quietly, I said, "Stop avoiding me." She froze, fork halfway to her mouth. "I'm not." "You are." Before she could respond, Stanley materialized beside our table like the irritating ghost he was. "Han, there you are. I'm going out tonight to explore the city. You in?" She glanced at me, then back at him. I stood, grabbed Stanley by the shirt collar. "Up. Now." I dragged him, literally dragged him to a corner of the restaurant, away from prying eyes, and more importantly, away from her. I shoved my keys into his chest. "Go home, Stanley." He blinked. "What?" "Home, Stanley. Now." "Now? Tonight? What about Dad? I'll handle it. I already booked your flight. Go." He stared at me for a long moment, something shifting in his expression. Understanding. Amusement. "You've got it bad, don't you?" "Go home." He held up his hands, grinning. Fine, I'm going, but we're talking about this later." He sauntered off, tossing over his shoulder. "Enjoy your exploring, brother." I turned back, but she was gone. I ran a hand through my hair, frustration burning through my veins. I should really tie her to a chair or something.
Chapter 10. Cake and Confessions. Hannah. For the past 2 days, I'd been running. After what happened on that yacht, after the way his hands felt on my waist and the way his eyes had looked at me like I was something worth wanting, I needed distance. But it was like he knew my every move before I made it. Yesterday, I strategically positioned myself at the far end of the breakfast room, behind a large pillar. 10 minutes later, he was seated at the table directly in front of me, espresso in hand, reading something on his phone like he hadn't just materialized out of thin air. That evening, I sent Sarah to go check the venue lighting with him, but she came back 10 minutes later looking vaguely guilty. He was already in the lobby, waiting. He said, and I quote, "Tell Hannah Rossi to come down here or I'll come up there and carry her myself." She'd paused. "Also, he asked if you'd eaten lunch." I rolled my eyes. This man. Sarah smiled. "He likes you," she whispered, her eyes bright with conspiracy. "Don't say that, Sarah. He's engaged," I hissed back, "and we're here to work." Tell that to the man who nearly lost it because his brother was flirting with you. I shake my head. Today was cake testing, and Sarah wasn't coming. Stomach issues, she'd groaned from her bed, clutching a pillow. That street food last night was a mistake. Don't forget to bring me leftovers. So here I was, alone, approaching Alex's car. He looked up as I enter, those gray eyes sweeping over me in that way that made my skin tingle. "Miss Rossi." "Mr. Valente." I slid into the car. The ride was quiet. Then we stopped at a small pastry shop and his driver returned with 2 paper bags. "Breakfast," he said, taking it and handling it to me. "I've eaten." He raised an eyebrow. "Liar." "Excuse me?" "You woke up at 7, spent 25 minutes going through your schedule, had breakfast downstairs for exactly 8 minutes. He looked away, but not before I caught the faint color rising on his cheekbones. "That's 33 minutes total. Today, you spent only 25 minutes to get ready. That means you didn't have breakfast." I stared at him, my mouth hanging open. Are you stalking me, Mr. Valente?" "Not at all, Miss Rossi." He was definitely avoiding eye contact now. "I pay attention to details. Those are my personal details. They're relevant to your well-being, which is relevant to the wedding." He finally looked at me, something unreadable in his eyes. "Eat." I ate. The cake tasting was held in a beautiful pastry kitchen overlooking a small canal. The pastry chef, a woman named Bellini, beamed at us as she laid out sample after sample. Chocolate, vanilla, lemon, pistachio, something involving hazelnut that made me want to weep. Alex stood behind me, letting me take the lead. I tasted, I took notes, I photographed everything. "This is the one," I said. "Good, done." He didn't even look at the others. I paused, turning to him. "You don't care, do you, about any of this? I care that it's done well. That's why I hired you."
The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Before we left, Signora Bellini appeared with dessert. "This is our new dessert. Try it, for you," she said in rapid Italian, handing it over to me. I smiled and thanked her. Outside, I tasted it. My eyes widened. "Oh, this is good. You'd like this," I said to Alex, without thinking. "You like sweet things." He raised an eyebrow. "You know my dessert preferences now? From the last tasting, you kept going back to the chocolate sampler." I shrugged, suddenly self-conscious. "I notice details too. It's my job." Something shifted in his expression, softened. "Let me try." I pushed it toward him. He didn't take it. Instead, he opened his mouth, slightly, waiting. I froze. He gestured with his chin toward his hands. It was full, with shopping bags. His bodyguard stood nearby. He could have easily asked one of them to hold something, but he didn't. Slowly, painfully aware of every eye, I picked up the tiny fork, cut a small piece, and lifted it to his lips. He closed his mouth around it, his eyes never leaving mine. Then he licked his lips slowly, deliberately, and said, "Not bad." I turned away so fast I nearly choked. "Yeah, good, great, moving on."
Chapter 11. The Truth. That night, I needed air. The hotel garden was quiet, lit by soft lanterns, the canal lapping gently against the stone. I'd barely sat down on a bench when I saw her. Chiara. She sat alone on a stone ledge, her back against a column, staring at nothing. Even in the dim light, I could see the redness around her eyes. "Mrs. Venetti." She straightened, forcing a smile. "You're back?" I said, sitting beside her carefully. "Yeah. How are you?" "Hannah." She smiled. "Great. Everything is going well," I said. "The preparation, I mean. It's all on track." Chiara nodded, her smile faint and sad. "Oh, good. You're doing a fantastic job, Hannah. Really." She paused, her gaze drifting down. "Sadly, that's not how I want my dream wedding to be." I turned to her, confused. "What do you mean? Why didn't you say something earlier? We could have made adjustments. I'm sure Alex wouldn't mind." "Alex." She said his name like it tasted strange on her tongue. Flat. Empty. "I'm sorry, Mr. Valente." I corrected quickly, heat rising to my cheeks. Chiara laughed then, a real laugh that cut through the tension. No, that's not it. He's not the problem." I smiled uncertainly. "He's not the problem," she repeated. "I am." She took a breath, then looked at me with those lost, beautiful eyes. "Imagine, Hannah, imagine getting married to a man you don't love, but hate." I froze. You hate Alex?" "Very much." Her voice was calm, matter-of-fact. "He's cold, proud, impossible. This marriage, it's a convenience, an arrangement." The pieces clicked into place with sickening clarity. The distance between them, the way they occupied the same space like strangers, his indifference to the details, her absence from every decision. "So you don't love him?" I whispered. "No." She shook her head slowly. "I love someone else, but I can't be with him." I waited, sensing there was more. "Our fathers have been partners for decades, friends in business. I was expected to marry Alex because my father—" She hesitated, chewing her lip. "Because my father gave his family protection before, and they were close." I frowned, something cold settling in my stomach. "Is your dad the president? A politician?" Chiara laughed again, but this time it was hollow. "No." Then a whisper, hesitation. "He's the capo of the Costa Nostra family, Hannah. Well, ex-capo. Now my brother Enzo has taken over." The world tilted. Mafia. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline, for the laugh, for her to say, "Just kidding." She didn't. "You're—" I swallowed. "You're from the mafia? Is that real?" She clapped a hand over her mouth, eyes widening. "Shh, we're not supposed to say it out loud, ever." "Then why are you telling me?" I whispered. Chiara's eyes glistened. "Because I need your help." I let go like she'd burned me. "I see the way he looks at you, Hannah." Her voice was soft, pleading. "Alex, he likes you, but his stupid pride won't let him admit it. That's not. I want out. Tears spilled down her cheeks, silent and desperate. I love Lorenzo so much, but if we run, they'll find us. They might end him, and I can never leave the Costa Nostra. Not really. I shook my head, backing away. Chiara, I can't. Please. She grabbed my hands, her grip surprisingly strong. I know it's foolish to ask you, to beg you for my own happiness, but I have no one else. Why don't you talk to Alex? I asked, my voice cracking. Maybe he'll understand. Maybe if you explain. I already did. She laughed bitterly, wiping her face. He told him. She shut me down. That arrogant brat. Always family first. And my family? She shook her head. They won't even listen. Women are supposed to be quiet, compliant, married off. I struggled to process. Mafia, arranged marriages, crime families? This wasn't a wedding. It was a treaty signing. Chiara, my voice was barely a whisper. I don't know what to do. I'm just the wedding planner. You're more than that. She squeezed my hands once, then released them. If this ends, it has to come from his family. Alex and I have to both decide to end it, together. That's the only way. I shook my head helplessly. I don't... She turned, composing herself like nothing had happened. Then, thank you for listening. A sad, grateful smile. And for all the wedding planning. You're really good at your job, Hannah. Then she was gone, swallowed by the garden shadows, leaving me alone with the weight of a truth I never asked to carry.
Chapter 12. The Fall. I didn't sleep that night. After Chiara left me in the garden, I sat on that bench for what felt like hours, staring at the water, my mind a hurricane of impossible truths. I was planning a mafia princess's wedding. Alex's family was connected to the Costa Nostra. Chiara loved someone else, desperately, hopelessly, and wanted me to help her escape. How? How was I supposed to do that? I was just the wedding planner. I coordinated flowers and seating charts and cake tastings. I didn't orchestrate escapes from organized crime families. And Alex? I laughed bitterly, the sound swallowed by the night. He didn't love Chiara, that much was obvious. But he couldn't just cancel the wedding because I talked to him about it. This wasn't a simple case of cold feet. This was family honor, mafia, danger. But you feel something for him, a small voice whispered. You admitted it to yourself tonight. I did. God help me, I did. The next morning arrived with the weight of 1,000 unanswered questions and a headache that pounded behind my eyes. The wedding was in 5 days. Miraculously, things were coming together. Vendors confirmed, venues ready, flowers scheduled. I worked through the pain in my head, grateful for one thing. Alex wasn't around. His bodyguard had mentioned something about Milan, last-minute business. The relief was physical. I didn't have to face him. Didn't have to look at those gray eyes and pretend I didn't know everything I knew. Chiara floated through the hotel like nothing had happened. She smiled at me during breakfast, waved at the vendor meetings, even laughed with her friends when 2 of them arrived, elegant, sharp-eyed women who looked at everything with quiet assessment. At least she has someone to talk to, I thought. That evening, I was reviewing the rehearsal dinner timeline in the lobby while waiting for Sarah so we could have dinner today, when I saw him. Alex. He stood near the entrance, talking intently to a man in a suit. His hair was styled neatly. Even from across the room, I could feel the familiar pull, the way my body registered his presence before my mind caught up. He must have felt it too, because he looked up. Our eyes met, and I panicked. I stood too fast, my heel catching on the edge of the marble stair. The world tilted. I grabbed something, missed, and went down hard, my ankle twisting beneath me. pain shooting up my leg like fire. Then the pain bloomed, white-hot and nauseating. "Hannah!" He was there before I could blink, kneeling beside me, his hands hovering like he was afraid to touch me, his face pale with something I'd never seen before. Fear. "Are you okay? Hannah, talk to me." I groaned, trying to sit up, the pain stealing my breath. I'm fine, I just..." Sarah appeared, her face white. "Oh my God, Miss Hannah, what happened?" A crowd gathered. Hotel staff, guests, Kiara and her friends watching. Everyone's eyes on us. On him holding me. "I'm fine," I repeated, trying to pull away from Alex's grip. "Really, I just need to..." He lifted me. Just scooped me off the floor like I weighed nothing. One arm under my knees, the other around my back. I froze, my face inches from his. "What are you doing? Put me down." "No." "Alex, everyone is watching." "I don't care." His jaw was set, his eyes blazing with something fierce and unreadable. "You're hurt. You need a doctor. Nothing else matters." I wanted to argue. I wanted to squirm away, to preserve whatever distance I had left. But the pain was real, and his arms were steady, and somewhere beneath the chaos, a traitorous part of me felt safe. The doctor said it was a minor fracture. I'd be fine in a few days with rest and compression. Minutes later, Alex returned with a bag of medication, pain relievers, anti-inflammatories, a compression wrap. He set them on the bedside table, then stood there, watching me. "How are you feeling?" "I'm fine." The words came out sharper than I intended. Something burned in my chest. Maybe anger, or the exhaustion of carrying too much. He'd married to a woman who hated him, a woman who'd begged me for help, a woman he was forcing into this life because of family and duty and all the words men use to justify trapping people. And yet here he was, looking at me like I mattered. I stood slowly, testing my weight on the ankle. Pain shot through it. I ignored it. "I need to get back to the venue." "No." He stepped forward, blocking my path. "You're not going anywhere." I crossed my arms, channeling every ounce of stubbornness I had. "Your wedding is in 5 days. I need to make sure everything is ready. You don't need to babysit me. I need to work. You need to rest." "I'm fine, Alex." He picked me up again. "Let me go." He deposited me on the bed, firmly, then stood over me, arms crossed. "You're not going anywhere, Hannah Rossi. I don't know where you're getting this stubborn attitude from, but it ends now." "Let me go." I tried to move again. "I have work to do. That's what I'm here for. I told you, I'm fine. Move, Mr. Valenti." "It's Alex." "What?" "To you, it's Alex, not Mr. Valenti." "Why?" The word came out before I could stop it. "Is this how you care for all your employees? Do you carry all your vendors?" I was being cruel, and I knew it. He shakes his head. I pushed him lightly. "Then don't you have work to do, Mr. Valenti? Move." He chuckled, low and dangerous. "Hannah Rossi, stop. Don't let me fix that attitude. You won't like me when I'm fixing things." "What?" He leaned closer. "Don't test me, Hannah Rossi." I tried to stand again, defiant. He pulled me back down. "Stay." And before I knew what was happening, he kissed me. His mouth crashed into mine like a storm, angry, desperate, consuming. I froze for a moment, registering what was going on before leaning in. All the tension of the past weeks, all the stolen glances and accidental touches and late-night calls poured into that single moment. I gasped against his lips, and he swallowed the sound, one hand fisting in my hair, the other gripping me up to seat on him. I pulled back, gasping for air. "Alex!" He kissed me again, deeper this time, slower, like he was memorizing me. He lifted me, shifting until I was on top of him, my injured ankle carefully positioned to the side, his hands spanning my hips. Shit, Hannah. He licked his lips, breath ragged. You drive me crazy, you know that? And you taste exactly how I imagined. I stared at him, chest heaving. My hands were on his shoulders. My heart was a war drum. Don't, he whispered. Alex, don't say it, Hannah. This isn't right. I tried to pull away, but his grip gentled, kept me close. Why? His thumb traced small circles on my hip, sending sparks through my skin. Tell me, he said teasingly. You know, you're getting... His mouth found my neck. I lost the thought. You're getting married. Am I? I froze. What? He didn't say anything. I shook my head. Alex, stop. Say my name again. Stop. I forced myself to move, to create distance. Stop playing with me. You can't just... This is cheating. It's not cheating if I call it off. His hands found my waist again, steadying me. The words hung between us, impossible and electric. Really? I breathed. He nodded, his gray eyes steady on mine. I didn't see a reason before. Now I have one, so I might. Something cold washed through me. I pushed against his chest, creating distance. Wait, might? Kiera begged you. She told you she loves someone else, and you were still going through with it. Why? His face shifted, the warmth cooling into something serious. It's not that simple, and never get involved with Kiera or any of her friends. They're dangerous. Stay here, don't go anywhere.
He stood, pacing to the door. Why? I said, ignoring the twinge in my ankle. Is this about the mafias? He turned back, jaw tight. Don't say that, Hannah. You're not supposed to know any of this. It's dangerous. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. I bit my lip. Are you going to be all right? When will you be back? He paused at the door, hand on the knob. Didn't turn back. My men will take you back to New York safely. Then he was gone. I stared at the closed door, my heart a chaotic mess. What was that? Is he really going to cancel the wedding? Does this mean he feels the same way? Or is it just desire, a last fling before obligation? I shook my head hard, trying to dislodge the thoughts. He's not like that. He's not. Sarah burst in moments later, takeout bags in hand, her face creased with worry. Miss Hannah, how's your ankle? I'm fine, I assured her, forcing a smile. The next morning, Alex and Kiara were nowhere to be found, and the wedding wasn't canceled. I was informed to make sure everything proceeded well. Vendors confirmed, flowers arranged, venue prepped. I moved through it all on autopilot, my injured ankle throbbing, my heart throbbing worse. I packed my bags that evening, pausing to look around the room one last time. Sarah would stay another day to oversee the final details. The journey home was a blur. Alex's bodyguards followed me all the way home, and I didn't have strength to argue. Thanks to the painkiller, I could walk around without feeling pain on my ankle. That night, after taking my meds, I fell into bed, grateful for the numbness. Sleep brought no peace. My thoughts came uninviting, replaying everything on a loop. The hospital room, the kiss, his lips on mine, desperate and claiming, the way he'd said my name, and then nothing. He'd just left. I waited for his call that night. Nothing. 2 days passed, 3. I thought about texting him 100 times, but what would I say? Hey, remember when you kissed me senseless and said you were calling off your wedding? What happened? I threw myself into work instead. Emails, consultations, a mountain of spreadsheets. I gave Sarah the week off. She deserved it, and her sister in Seoul was waiting. Late one night, alone in my office, packing up to leave, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Thank you so much, Hannah. I really appreciate everything you did. I'm so grateful. I get to be with him now. Thank you so much. I'll call you when I'm out, but thank you. I stared at the message, my heart seizing. Who might this be? As I stepped outside, I looked up from my phone, and there he was. Alex stood by a sleek black car parked at the curb, leaning against it like he'd been waiting forever. His suit was rumpled, his hair slightly disheveled, dark circles under those gray eyes like he hadn't slept in days. Our eyes met. He smiled. It was small, tentative, nothing like the confident man I'd known in Venice, but it was real. "Hello, Miss Rossi," he called. I stepped forward, my heart pounding. Why? He crossed the distance in 3 long strides and pulled me into his arms. "I've missed you so much." I froze. Then slowly, my arms came up around him. I know I should be yelling, shouting, and avoiding him, but tears burned my eyes, spilled over. But I'd missed him too, more than I'd let myself admit. The evening calls, his scent, the way he looked at me like I was the only person in the room. He pulled back, cupping my face in his hands. I called it off. His voice was rough, exhausted, triumphant. "So, Hannah Rossi, now you can be with me, right? Please don't reject me." I laughed through my tears. "I thought you left, or didn't want—" He cupped my face. "No, Hannah, never. I'm sorry I disappeared without calling or texting you. Had to handle a lot of things." "Your family? Her family? What did you do, Alex? How?" He kissed my forehead, lingering there. "You don't have to worry. We both agreed on something else." I pulled back. "Really? What? And what about Chiara?" I asked. "Chiara's marrying Lorenzo tomorrow, the wedding you planned." My mouth dropped open. "Really?" He nodded, checking his watch. "In fact, they're getting married today." I laughed, the sound bubbling out of me uncontrollably. I'm so happy for her, for them.
He hugged me again. 3 days without you was hell, you know? I knew when you walked into my office, on the yacht. That night on the yacht, I almost kissed you. I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But I was a coward. I told myself it was honor, duty, all the words men use to justify being afraid. I still almost went through with it, because I was scared. Because walking away from my family, from everything I knew, felt impossible. He cupped my face, thumbs brushing my cheekbones. But I couldn't, Hannah. I'd rather walk away from everything than to lose you. Alex, I love you. I've loved you since you bit your lip during our history project, and I've loved you every day since you walked back into my life. He trailed off, something vulnerable flickering in his gray eyes. So, will you be mine? Hannah Rossi, will you? Because if you... I kissed him. Yes, against his lips. Yes, you idiot, yes. I've been waiting since high school for you to catch up, Alex Valente. I smiled, the words I'd been holding back rising to my lips. I love you. He kissed me before I could finish, hungry and desperate, his mouth tasting of whiskey and something sweeter. Hope, maybe. Freedom. Us. He pulled back just enough to meet my eyes. I love you, Hannah Rossi. I laughed, hugging him tighter. I love you too. She smiled. So tell me how you convinced a mafia boss that you don't want to get married to his sister. He chuckled. I put a gun to his head and say, I'm in love with someone else. Is either you cancel this deal your dad made, or you go to hell. I stared at him in surprise. He laughed. Just joking. We both laughed, the sound echoing in the empty New York street. The end. And indeed, Alex wasn't joking. If you're interested in knowing how Alex pulled it off, convinced his family, and made a deal with Enzo Conti, the capo, join my membership for this bonus chapter. I'll be posting it there. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this.